Hello everybody, my name is Graham Elwood and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Well, we have a great press in this country, right? That's why you watch this show, because our corporate media is so good. Well, let's see how they were judged globally. Oh, we just dropped to 45th in the world in terms of freedom of the press. The report calls out Trump as a media bashing enthusiast. Now, this is a thing that's like, yes, Trump says that all the time. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Which is convenient. I mean, that's his tactic. It helped him get elected. And I don't know that I call it fake news. It's corporate news. And this includes Fox and MSNBC and CNN. But this poll just shows you how shitty, whatever you want to call it, how shitty our media is. That's why you watch your news from me. You can trust me, a comedian in his apartment, wearing a t-shirt a little too tight to make his vegan guns look bigger than they are, standing in front of a TV. You trust me more because I'm not bullshitting you. I'm giving you as much truth and information as I possibly can as one guy doing a show alone. Because there's no big corporations telling me what I can and cannot say. They're so full of shit, but this is the study. So it shows you how bad it is. Right, did the media, they should have gone crazy over the election rigging. They should have gone nuts over the shadow app in the Democratic primary. The media, if they were doing their job, would have been like crucifying Pete Buttigieg for that. Investigative reporters been crawling all over that. When the UN report said this was clearly a rigged election, when Bernie Sanders had double-digit exit poll wins, and then Biden ended up winning by 3 or 4 points, and there's that electronic voting machines. If we had a real media, they would be all over that. They would have crucified the Podesta emails. They brought up the Podesta emails 4 years ago, and then they kind of let it go. 4 years of talking about Russia. Rachel Maddow wouldn't exist if we had a real media. She wouldn't be allowed to do that bullshit. Or maybe she would do what she used to do on Radio America before she sold out for a 7-8 figure income. The U.S. has dropped to spot 45 in this year's ranking of countries based on press freedom, conducted by NGO Reporters Without Borders. The survey ranked 180 countries based on factors such as pluralism, media independence, media environment and self-censorship, legislative framework, transparency, and the quality of the infrastructure that supports the production of news and information. Let's go back here. Media independence. This is probably the biggest thing we don't have. There are 6 companies that own all major media in the United States and most of the world. 6 companies. Might even be down to 5 now, because I think a couple of them merged. I've talked about that. I'll go into this in a second. So there's that. There's the media environment and self-censorship. Well, that starts the minute you get a lot of corporate money. So you as a reporter know if Raytheon and Boeing are buying a lot of ad time, you don't even necessarily need to be told by your producer or news director, hey, don't do that story showing the corruption of the war machine. You just know internally, well, I'm not going to bring that up. I don't want, they buy a lot of ad time with us. You just make that decision as the reporter. They buy a lot of ad time with us, right? I've been in that environment. I've done, my movie podcast. This is on such a teeny little scale, but my movie podcast, and we would have advertisers pay us a little bit of money to do ad reads, and we would do ad reads, Like, hey, CVS oil absorbing sheets. They're so great and blah, blah, and they give us ad copy to read. And we just knew we didn't even have to say it. We couldn't make fun of the product. If you really need these, don't save your, we couldn't make any of them. These are good, but they're not great for the environment. I couldn't do anything like that. I just knew that. I mean, we did, a couple times we made jokes and they got mad and we had to do what they called make goods and reread the ad copy because we didn't read it exactly to their liking. So you start censoring. You're not going to go, this is bullshit. You need the ad revenue. You need the ad revenue. That's why I like doing this show. Because the clickable ads on YouTube, I mean, when you watch those ads, yeah, I get paid and I appreciate when you watch them. When you click skip ad, I don't get paid. But those companies, well, they try to censor you because I get demonetized if I talk about Epstein or any of these other things. But I don't give a shit because I also make money on Patreon and other ways. That's why I set up multiple revenue streams. Because if I was just dependent on YouTube ad revenue, I'd have to ask myself a tough question. Well, I could do this video on the Yemen war or the corruption or how we just sent a bunch of CIA mercenaries down to Venezuela that just got caught, but I might lose the ad revenue and I'm not going to do that. That's why I love Patreon and Rockfin and all that. That's why I do that, because I don't want to be censored, because I know how it works. Now imagine, I'm one guy in his apartment. Imagine you work for some massive organization. And Bill Gates, oh, he gave $10 million and Microsoft bought this, and we can't go after, companies trying to get rid of net neutrality because, Verizon and AT&T buy a lot of that. We can't. That's how big it is. That's how much money we're talking about. Can ESPN really go after the NFL for covering up CTE? Not when they got to deal with the NFL. Do you see what I'm saying? A media bashing enthusiast, Trump has referred to reporters as enemies of the people, the term once used by Joseph Stalin. The report says, yeah, so Trump is obviously not good either. He says fake news because he can't handle anybody contradicting him. He's a little child. He'll never admit he's wrong, like children. Like children never admit they're wrong. I'm not wrong, and he can't handle the pressure, and that's why he has to throw people out of the press. And even though the press does jackass things, the press are idiots, and the press has profited from Trump's jackassery. He's good for business, so they need these crazy fights in the press room, and he's easy. He's easy to push his buttons. It's easy to do because he's a little child and a narcissist. But let's look at this. Coming in at the top spot for the second year in a row, Norway, followed by Sweden. Here are the top 10 countries: Norway, Sweden, Netherlands, Finland. All great quality of life, free health insurance. All these countries. Switzerland, Jamaica, Belgium, New Zealand, Denmark, Costa Rica. Susie Dawson might argue with that. Here are the 10 worst. North Korea, Eritrea, I don't know where that is, Turkmenistan, Syria, China, Vietnam, Sudan, Djibouti, Cuba, Equatorial Guinea. But let us not forget, here's something that was not in this report. It's something I tend to show you on a fairly regular basis. But if they put this in the report, we would be down there with China. I show you this all the time, the propaganda multiplier. There's the White House, the CIA, and the Pentagon feeds the big news agencies, AP, AFP, Reuters, and then all these companies. So that's why Reporters Without Borders, okay, they're an NGO, all right, and they want to show how bad Trump is. Yeah, Trump's a jackass, but they didn't talk about this. This is the one thing this report missed. I wonder why. Maybe they're just not paying attention. And I've talked about this before. So when Stephen Colbert, who has the same agent as like Anderson Cooper and Joe Biden or Bill Clinton or whatever, they all have the same big agent, literally brings up State Department talking points when he's interviewing Tulsi Gabbard before she sold out. That's why it seems like, and you hear all of the Russia hacked our elections. You've heard it all over the place, so it seems it must be true because it all came from here. In the same, conversely, I've heard neoliberals who are like, hey, Bernie lost. He tried. He just didn't have the numbers. And I said, no, they cheated. He goes, well, how come we haven't heard about it? Because it was deliberately blocked out. They didn't talk about. Maybe Fox News talk. If Fox News is critical of the Democratic Party, neoliberals just write them off because they're the professional, they're the enemy, they're the bad guy in that professional wrestling scenario. Right? When MSNBC, when NBC or CNN calls out Trump and the Republican Party, the Fox viewers do the same thing. Oh, they're the bad guy to my favorite professional wrestler is Fox News. And my Fox News wrestler cannot do anything wrong. Fox News and the Republicans can never do anything wrong. And I'm a vote any blue will do moron. And so my CNN, MSNBC, Democrat pro wrestler, they could do never wrong. It's just the Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik. It's the same bullshit. So as much as they all say the same thing, you also have to pay attention to as much as what they don't. Why are none of them covering it? Because it's bad business for these folks. Why aren't we just 24/7 now? What's happening in Venezuela? All these mercenaries got caught. They're going to report it. But guess how it's going to come out? Maybe they're going to try to hang this on Juan Guaido or something. MSNBC will just call out the private contractor at Silvercorp that's buddies with Trump. So they'll just say, oh, this is Trump's bumbling. They'll just try to do that. NBC won't show the clip that I've shown you of Nancy Pelosi applauding, standing and applauding with Trump at the State of the Union back in whenever that was, January, February. Juan Guaido, freedom fighters in the audience tonight. They won't talk about that. None of these companies will talk about how Juan Guaido was appointed by the CIA. They won't talk about that. When they get busted, they always seal it off like it's just a handful of bumbling. It's, oh, Gilligan. It's always Jeffrey Epstein, just was despondent and he just felt bad. And that's why he hung himself on suicide watch. That's why we're not talking about Epstein. It's all controlled. I bring this up on so many videos because it's all relatable. This is the root of so many of it is right here. Shave your knuckles for justice, baby. Too much truth laying down. Too much truth laying down. Hey, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.